We are told. Hi, this is Told. Welcome. Today we're updating Cat Attack. The Precon free deck. I don't know if I highly expect that we'll get some new free decks, but I did notice I haven't updated this deck yet, and maybe it makes sense because there's a lot of changes that goes into it, and it kind of starts to look like the regular cat deck with the Pridemates and stuff, but not quite there because of the rarity. So we're gonna keep the same rares as much as we can, have one suggested rare to add in, and then most of it's a lot of uncommons that are going to be swapped out. So the mythic rare in the deck is Angelic Destiny. We're obviously keeping that one. You get +4/+4 flying. You're an angel, that doesn't really matter, and then if the creature dies you return it to the battlefield. Just a really great enchantment. And then we got the Regal Caracal. It makes 2/1/1 cat tokens, but then it gives cats all +1/+1 on lifelink, so it basically makes 2/2/2s. So that's 7 power for 5 mana. Really great card. Arahbo makes a cat with it, and it also gives all your other cats +1/+1. And Anthem of Champions is the other rare that gives all your creatures +1/+1. So I would say if you had some more rares, you could definitely go with another Arahbo and another Caracal. And then you could probably replace the Anthem for another Arahbo, but tis what it is. If we're keeping the deck as cheap as possible, 4 claws out we're keeping the same. So those are the cards that we're not changing, and the rest of the deck we're gonna just gut it. As always, these are foundation decks, so they came with the mana base of the Gates, which are tapped dual color lands, and Duskmourn gave us common dual color lands, but if either player is 13 or less life, then they're untapped. So just a better land in general, right? And then I'm just going to kind of do these two real quick just because I didn't know where to put them. So then we also got in through the Omen Path / Spider-Man, we got the Suburban Sanctuary. So it's another dual land. It comes into tapped, but it gives you late game potential to surveil. So I just kind of like that a little bit better. We're going to go one. This is where it's going to get a little weird. Just stay with me. We're going to go 1 Undergrowth Leopard. It's a cat, 2/2 Vigilant. You could sack and destroy artifacts and enchantments. It's kind of important. And then I put this Topiary Panther is in the land cycling. So we can land cycle it for 2 to get a basic land. Or it's just a 6/5 cat that has Trample. And I'm just putting these over here because we're going to go down on the lands. 9 plains, 2 forests. So just kind of put them over here just for the cards that are getting taken out for that. So you got that right. We're going 22 lands in the deck. And then Banishing Light, there was 2 of. I think we go with a full play set. And of course, the Magic. This one. So we're going to go with 2 more of those. So we'll take out 2 of these Savannah Lions. And then we're the Leonin Vanguard. It's a 2/2, basically, if you control 3 or more creatures. And you gain a life. So it's clearly better than the Savannah Lions, right? The Savannah Lions is a 2/1. This is a 2/2, which you gain a life every single turn as long as you have 3 creatures. So just a better Savannah Lions, technically, once you have 3 creatures. Obviously, you get this on turn 1, it could attack for 2, and this you get it on turn 1, it's going to attack for 1, and then even on turn 2, it's most likely going to attack for 1, unless you pump it up. The one rare that I would suggest crafting is Haliya, Guided by Light. It's a 3/3, you can warp it, so you can play 1 mana to put into play for 1 turn, and then when it or another creature or artifact enters, you gain a life, and if you gain 3 or more life, you get to draw a card. So basically, you want to be able to gain 3 life in a turn, and you'll draw a card. So it's kind of a card advantage creature, and I think it's just really good. There's a couple other ones, that I want to mention, right? So there's the Innocence, is another one. Is another option of a rare craft, but I just think that Haliya is just better because this only works with 2 power and less. And if you have something out like a Arahbo or the Anthem or the Caracal, now those creatures are no longer 2 power creatures. And then there's also the other one. It's the Angel. Man of value if 4. The Exemplar of Light. So this is kind of similar to the Pridemate, which we'll get into later. But whenever you put a +1 counter on this creature, you get to draw a card. And it's once per turn. And so whenever you gain a life, you put a +1 counter on it. Is how you put +1 counters on it. So it just kind of goes into a Pridemate, the life gain deck that going around. It's a mono white deck that's quite often played. So those are 2 options if you don't want to do this one, but I just think this one is much better because any creature enters, you gain a life. It'll proc your Pridemates, which we'll see in a minute as we get these in. The card we're taking out is the Unflinching Courage. It gets +2/+2 in lifelink and trample. That's cool and all, and yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Definitely a craftable card. You could always not put it in and probably go with like another Cat Collector or something if you didn't want to craft that, but I think it just really helps out the deck. Felling Blow, your creature fights another creature. That's cool, but we're playing white, so we don't need to do that. So we can put in something like the battle menu. There's some other options, I guess, that you could do. Like, I don't know if you want to Manifest Dread. There's a new card in Spider-Man that I've been really liking. But something like Coordinated Maneuver, not so much. Here, this one, Sudden Strike. Destroy target attacking or blocking creature is pretty good. There's also Emergency Ejects. Probably could replace Banishing Light with. But, you are giving your opponent lander tokens, and that's land. Could also put in this, destroy target creature, toughness greater than 4. There's also, there's Luminous Rebuke, or the exile one, Ride's End, right? Where you get to exile a tapped creature, tapped permanent, basically a tapped creature. So those are kind of some options, but I like battle menu as the flexibility. You can make a 2/2, which is also proccing your life gain, at instant speed as well, so you can block with it. You can kill a creature that has power 4 or greater. You can defend, give your creature +4 toughness to save it, or you can just gain some life. So just pretty good additions. Also, the deck list is in the description if I didn't mention that, so you don't need to follow along like editing out and copying the cards. You could just import that from Moxfield there. And then the Pridemate is the main cat that we want to have. Obviously, it's the best cat. Whenever you gain a life, you put a counter on it. It's a 2/2, so and then it continues to grow. While the Thespian is great, it's a really aggressive 3/1 creature that you surveil when it enters and surveil when it dies, so it gives you some good card selection. Pridemate's just way better, right? Just a way better card. Helpful Hunter, 1/1 for 2 mana. We just got rid of a 3/1. Why would we play this? This is for drawing cards. Well, we have Kutzil. It's a 1, a green, and a white, so it's 1 mana more expensive, but whenever one or more creatures, with power greater than its base power deals damage to a player, you draw a card. And also gives you the added benefit if opponent can't cast spells on your turn. So it's really good if you have Kutzil out, your creatures aren't going to die, the opponent's not going to pump any of their creatures. If you pump your creatures, it's just win-win. And then you draw cards on modified creatures, so, stuff like the Anthem and Arahbo is considered pumping, and then obviously the Pridemate pumps itself. So, and then the other one is Cease and Desist. So Cease, you can cast it for 1 and a green, or you can cast Desist for 4 and 2, green or white, whatever. But so the Cease is you can exile 2 cards from a graveyard and gain 2 life, draw a card. So it kind of replaces the draw card effect of the Hunter, but also dealing with those graveyard decks. And then also, if you do get to 6 mana and you need to wipe out the artifacts and enchantments, just know we're playing for Banishing Light, which might, encourage you to maybe swap that out for a different type of exile removal. Maybe you go with that. I didn't put it in there. Dang it. What was that one? The Emergency Eject, right? Maybe that makes more sense to put it in there. But you're hardly ever casting Cease and Desist, and if you are, it's pretty much like, oh crap, reset button, and if they get back their Banishing Lights, then just have to deal with it. But this gets to exile any non-land permanent, and they can't reanimate an exiled permanent that's been exiled. We're gonna come back to this one because this is a little bit of talking. Then we have these other two cats. These are flying cats. This is a lifelinking cat, and this is a flying cat for 2 mana for a 2/2. This is a 2/3 for 2 mana, the Gloryheath Lynx. And when you saddle it, if it attacks, you can search your library for a basic plane. So that's why we're going 9 planes and 2 forests, so we can search up our planes, get more mana, get lifelink, grow our Pridemate type of situation. So that takes care of this. And then, obviously this is a flyer, 2/2 is pretty good, but being able to grow our Pridemate, being able to get mana, so on turn 2, we can get at planes, and we could ramp into, the Panther or the Caracal, or just get the Claws Out mana, even though, it's double white, so if we do need that double white type of situation. Giant Growth, while that seems great, isn't that great, because none of our creatures have Trample or Evasion now that we got rid of the flyer. But Trash a Town is a nice substitute. So for 3 mana, you can put 2+1/+1 counters on a creature. For like 2 mana, you could give something Trample, so if you had a big Pridemate. Or for 2 mana, you can give target creature gains whenever this deals damage to a player. You draw 2 cards. And then obviously you could pay, multiple. So you could pay, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana and get all the abilities, right? And it's instant speed type of interaction, so it's just really good card. Most of the spree cards that are pretty cheap are pretty decent. I like the getaway glamour, where you can exile a creature, non-token creature, but you can flicker stuff and then you can destroy a creature with the greater power. The raid is just great against enchantments, artifacts, and then if you're going wide with creatures, Double Strike's kind of cool, but very situational. And then this thing doesn't ever see play. Search your library for basic desert. 5 mana. Yeah, that one's not that great. Ugh. The Unicorn, while it seems great, for 3 mana, it's kind of sucky. And it just does one thing. So, you know why this sucks? It's a 2/2 for 3 mana. This is a 2/2. This is a 3/3 for 3 mana. Sure, if I have other creatures, then I get to pump them. If you have other creatures. If you don't have other creatures, this thing doesn't do nothing. So we're going to replace it with some more utility cards. We're going to go with 1 Overprotect. Gives +3/+3 Trample. Hexproof and indestructible, so we can save our creatures. Or we can just give our big Pridemate Trample. And then in case of the Trampled Garden, when it casts it, you put 2+1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 card creatures. So that's a way that you can modify your creatures so that they can attack in and get you that card draw. And then if you have more than 8 power, you solve the case. And then whenever you attack, you put a +1/+1 counter on a creature, and it gets Trample. So it's just a more effective thing. So like this is Trample until end of turn. This is Trample until end of turn. This is a permanent, whenever you attack, you're giving something Trample. And then 1 Cat Collector. I would like to have more Cat Collectors, but as we played, it kind of went down and down and down on those. But, whenever you gain a life, you make a cat on your turn. It has to be on your turn, so just be aware of that. You can't crack the food on opponent's turn and make 2 cats in 1 turn cycle. You can only make 1 cat per turn cycle. And probably that's why I went down on it is, it's not super great. It is a 3/2 for 3 mana, but it's not a cat itself. So that's kind of the problem, is it doesn't get pumped up by Arahbo or the other cat synergies. Yeah, that's everything. So Dex list in the description. Those are cards we removed. Let's get in some games and show you how to pilot this bad boy. One creature, opponent goes first. Probably should mulligan this, but I'm just going to keep it just because it's a teaching moment. We got battle menu, is actually another creature, and then Anthem can come down later. And we got the Lynx. They're playing black. They're probably going to remove whatever we play first. And black control. This can kill a demon. Unfortunately, we're going to lose the Lynx. Because if they play demons and they put down the Annex, we want to be able to blow that up. And that makes this creature more important. Also, we can attack with a Lynx, saddle it with the leopard, and get us a land. if our guy survives. If the opponent's smart, they would wait. I mean, it doesn't really matter, really. Taking 3 damage. I think we really want to save the battle menu for damage. I still think I value the Leopard. And the Pridemate's fine without any life gain. This does gain us life. This gains us life. But we're stuck at 2 lands. We are playing 22, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't have 3 lands with 9 cards drawn. Because we're not playing 20. We're playing more than 20. But, okay. Pretty wasteful by the opponent. They must have a handful of stuff. They have 3 cards in hand, so the Trash the Town is going to be great if we can draw 2 cards. They might just be like a full sweepers removal stack, and they're playing fortresses, so we can't kill the fortress with this. They do have something. Mazebind Tome, maybe? I think I'm going to go for Trash the Town. I need to draw cards. I need to try it. I might have just drew that. I mean, what can you do? They're at 6 lands. We're at 2. They've drawn 2 more cards than us, and they have so many more lands. Well, we'll just keep playing creatures. I mean, they could keep sweeping the board. 1 for 1. Okay. I mean, this opponent clearly has no win con? I don't know. I mean, this is their win con, is the Fortress? Or maybe they're Ugin? I have no idea. I mean, eventually we'll draw another land, right? So, maybe they're just trying to get rid of everything out of our deck? I have no idea. Right, like they have no win con besides the lands, so if we had removal spell, if we had lands, that would be nice. I think we're going to go for the card draw. Because, yeah, I think there's a little bit of discrepancy. Okay. I want to draw the card. I mean, they could have Deadly Cover Up. I'll just keep playing stuff. I mean, eventually we'll get to be able to protect our guy, right? They could have another The End. Yeah, there's your Ugin. I think we're just going to scoop this one up. We got so screwed on lands. There's nothing you could do. 2 lands. It took us 18 cards to get to our 3rd land. Or 17. I go first? What? I got as many lands as I had last game. I would say, whenever you play a new deck, I find it quite common of an occurrence to get mana screwed on your first game. Or maybe your first 2 games. And so this is why we have the Panther in there. I think we're going to cycle it. Or... yeah, I think we're just going to cycle it. We could draw 2 cards with the Trash the Town. But I think just getting this land out will get Kutzil out. Then they can't do nothing on our turn. They're probably just playing Burn anyway. No, I'm taking a land cycle, baby. Wish we had some reanimation target. We do need double white for claws out, so I'm going to take that even though we have more planes. I didn't see any stick, so that's interesting. Sometimes I like to click that fast, and then you can see it's kind of cheaty. Obviously, you're playing in person. They could have sorcery speed removal. We don't have a way to protect our board. Maybe we're supposed to trash the town here? I don't know. This costs 3 mana to activate. They're probably just going to sweep the board. We'll get to draw a card off the Kutzil. And trash the town, we can draw a card. Still 1 mana short. Yep. Not that big deal. We need 3 mana to put 2+1/+1 counters. I assume they're going to sweep the board again. If we trash the town... We just trash the town. I have to double block. We still do trampled. Oh, we have to do the trample damage then. We don't have enough mana to get the card draw. Sucks. Needed 1 more land. Needed another land. We have 3 turns to Banishing Light the Overlord. Okay. They're a Breaching Dragonstorm deck? I don't even know what we're playing against. Okay. They're at 11. 7, 12 plus 4. Right? 12 plus 4 is 17. They have to have a removal spell for the Lynx. We get Caracal next turn. That's a removal spell for the Lynx that gets rid of my Angelic Destiny. What a clean solution. Wow. We have to take care of the boiler bilges. We're gonna be a turn too late. This took 1 damage. What if I have a burn spell? Ha! What? If that's not a bot, I don't know what is. So he shocked it in to take... You could just wait 1 turn? Where you would exile the Trumpeting Carnosaur? I don't know, man. I'll take it. Cat versus cat. I go first again? Boom. No Savannah Lions needed here. We have no cheap plays. Is that a life gain land? No good. They're playing black. It's probably dead. But what are you gonna do, right? I'm just gonna put this out. Sometimes you'd warp it, but looks like they're gonna kill the Pridemate. I'll just bounce the Pridemate. Okay. Wow, now I wish I would have warped it. Okay. That's pretty good. That's a good draw. That was a great top deck. And we gain another life, so we're going to draw a card. Well, they could sweep the board next turn. I think they're almost dead. Very close to death. 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, we don't have enough mana though. Not quite there. I think we just go for it. It's kind of risky. Damn. Do we even need to? 8, 9, 10. I think we're going for it. Maximum damage. Then I get the card draw. They could have sweeper. Put them to 2. We got battle menu at instant speed. Double Banishing Light. Okay. It's quite weird. They're just taking it? Okay. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana and nothing to do. Play cautious, that's all I gotta say. You want to hold stuff in your hand for sweepers. Obviously the Destiny would be great. They could have bounce spell. Maybe they didn't have nothing to do, maybe they were, they could have Aetherize. 1 turn of Aetherize and we held stuff back. We held the Guided by Light back so that if we did have to recast Arahbo, we could recast Arahbo and gain that life. Tap lands really suck. I would say the mana base, like those are things you want to look at. Upgrading first for any deck is upgrading the mana base. Well, they're not gonna play like fire magic, right? Nah, they would never be playing that. Just a burst lightning. Not even plotting the slick shot. Interesting. Do we take the slick shot here? How afraid of it are we? I'm just gonna use my removal. I think we're afraid of it. They could dragon, kill one of our vanguards, I suppose. They could just burst lightning the Pridemate. Now you're coming alive. We need that Anthem. Oh, you don't want to take the damage, huh? I'm glad we took their 1 creature. I'm gonna Angelic Destiny, maybe. Okay. Definitely gonna do that. Does this get lifelink? Ooh. What? Oh. I'm at 14. Oh my god. What an idiot. I'm at 14. He's at 16. Miscalculated. But they still have Witchhawker's Frenzy is in their deck. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't Screaming Burst or Screaming Nemesis. Did we just kill ourselves? I have no idea. Why would you not attack with this thing? Suspect. Very suspect. Why didn't you attack with this? I don't know. Okay. Bolt Wave is not... Even with my mistake. That's why you don't play Bolt Wave. It's too greedy, bro. Even with my mistake. So this comes in untapped if a player has 13 left life. Me being at 14, them being at 16. Complete punt. We are told.